My God, right, that is quite the old complicated structure. I swear, London is changing buildings like I'm changing my underwear. This is... Right, what am I doing with this then?
Tom, we're off to see some jobs, let's go.
We're off to a site?
Yeah, we're going to go see some projects.
All right, PPE on, come on then, let's go. Ooh.
Right, let's go.
Got it.
Who's got the keys? You got the keys?
It's your van, isn't it?
What's the keys?
I've got the keys, you better have the keys.
You ain't got the keys?
I'll go get the keys.
Can't get the keys.
Go get the keys.
Well, thank you very much for cleaning the motor at the very least.
Go set a good stance for the day.
Right, exactly.
Lovely day you've got with the team from GKR.
Well, I mean, I'm also delighted the fact that you've got a very, very swanky number plate on there.
Well spotted. If anybody knows their scaffolding, they recognise the number plate. Just as we're coming up, we can see the Shard in front of us.
Yes,
you'll see the GKR head office there. This is a funny part of London, so this reminds me, you know, of back in 2008, shall I say, 2009, sorry, correct myself there, when we were awarded the Shard. And obviously, I don't know if you can just see that brick building.
Yes, I can indeed.
There, yeah, that was the client's office, and where Mace, the main contractor with the red glazed windows going up, that's where they were based.
Top of Bermondsey Street.
Yeah, top of Bermondsey Street, and I had my first meeting in there on the Shard of Glass in 2009. We'd worked on some amazing projects prior to the Shard. Wandsworth Shopping Centre being one of them for ISG, Brunswick Shopping Centre prior to that for ISG, and we'd been working for the likes of Kia and Cantel on demolition and Toland Construction back in the day, and we'd also done a stint in Germany as well. So
amazing. So clearly getting that first one, they went, well, we're not going to use anybody else. Why would we? He showed us the loyalty. He put
it all runs from the main contractor. So basically, the relationships with the main contractor, and then the main contractor has the relationships with us. But yeah, we everybody that works on that project, everybody that stepped through that door every day proved themselves.
We're now driving over arguably the most famous bridge in the world, right? Now, you know, not as old as many people think. It's only about 130 years old. Built on this side of London Bridge, so that, you know, people could move from the City of London down into Bermondsey. But the main reason it splits because you've got the Pool of London right in the middle next to you, so you've got HMS Belfast. And the reason that it sits in its current configuration as the only suspension and bascule bridge in the world is just for getting boats in and out of the Pool of London, which up until the 50s was the busiest shipping port in the entire world.
We've got quite a bit of work where we're driving to now, and I can point a few jobs out to us.
Hopefully not run over any pedestrians as we do so.
But yeah. This is what you're dealing with all the time. We worked on HSBC Tower at the top of that, some 300 metres in the air with 4,000 people coming to work in a building, coming out.
Terrifying.
And just managing that risk. So in front of you, that glass, the tallest glass building in the city, that's 22BG.
Oh, so that was yours?
That was one of ours. So
wow.
You can roughly see at the top, I think, Gordon Ramsay's got, well, he's planning to put 5 restaurants up there. I think he's got 3 up there at the moment.
Whoa.
But yeah, we scaffolded all the top of that for all the glass facades and all the glass.
What was a more difficult project? 22 Bishopsgate or the Shard? Because they're roughly similar heights.
The Shard was probably the hardest because that was our sort of learning curve into high-rise.
Right.
High-rise new buildings.
Yeah.
And had to sort of accommodate everything we had to accommodate. Sort of, when was that? 2008, I think, 2009, whenever that was. So that's when we developed all our tethering procedures and our eliminate fittings and stuff like that to be able to tether materials where we couldn't put exclusion zones out, because ideally we like to put an exclusion zone out to protect us from the public going into a sort of areas where we're working, but obviously you can't do that with places like London Bridge.
No,
because everywhere still has to function. So, and that's where we come up with, we've sort of developed all our sort of tethering procedure. And then once we sort of learn and practice it on the shard. We then brought it forward to be doing like 22 BG and the HSB building. We changed we aided changing the signs on top of the HSBC and Barclays Tower for the Olympics because they wanted illuminated signs.
Gotcha.
For that, so we've worked on 6 of the 10 tallest buildings in London just because of the systems that we've developed.
Right.
For how we control risk.
So your brand standard became almost sort of the industry gold standard.
That's how the industry recognises us, I think, because we understand risk.
Yeah.
And we know how to manage risk.
Right.
Me personally, I want risk. I like risk. I think it elevates my brand. I think we manage it right. The guys want it. I think the guys, from the engineers, they want to work on these interesting projects. The scaffolders want to work on these.
Well, it gives you a bit of a bragging rights down the pub, doesn't it? It's just like, well, we were doing this and we were doing that. Right? It's that feel-good factor. It's not only, okay, we're taking on, a cool project, but we're taking on a project that everybody in the country knows.
It is high risk. Scaffolding, demolition, it's a high risk industry. So you have to get it right because it can go wrong so quickly. And we're not here to hurt anyone. We're here to do a good job, build a business, raise a brand and make some money. That's what we want to do. And we want people working for us to make money and everyone to go home the same way they come to work. And it is so important to us. And it frustrates me when I see, should I say, like, smaller businesses and the way they work, and they can't see the risk of what they're doing and how quickly things could go wrong or how you can, and stuff like that. And I just don't know, and it's just about,
it's all about keeping it correct.
Yeah,
right?
Showing people what we do and hope, and you just want the industry to follow you because we want it to be a safer place. We want people to work how you're meant to work. Well,
you clearly obviously want this industry to carry on going as well. And if you're setting the markers that it's a dangerous place to be, yada yada yada, nobody's going to continue the trade of scaffolding, and it will eventually just die out. So if you're setting the practices the way they should be done, the industry keeps going. So obviously with scaffolding, you're doing a lot of stuff on the outside. I've now learned that you're doing more stuff inside. When a project is being constructed, do you find that your boys are on site, at least there's one guy on site, every day for the entire construction of the project, or do you find yourself sort of building a structure?
It all depends. It all depends on the size of the project, really. So currently on 75 London Wall, we've got 6 operatives working on that. They're there on a daily basis. We've got a schedule of works from Multiplex that we're working on, plus whatever comes up on a daily basis in the way of we need to get access here or we need edge protection over there and stuff like that. So 6 men on that, but we've got some big hoist runoffs to build in Winchester Place, which is the elevation at the back of this and stuff like that. So when that work comes online, we'll have to increase the labour levels on site to accommodate that work and continue with the work we're already doing on site.
Okay, so you got tubes. What are the main other sort of components when?
Tubes, beams, fittings and balls, really.
That's
it. That's basically, that's it. And then you like things like that, you've got proprietary staircases, that's a hacky staircase.
And a lovely bit of GKR Scaffolding Limited sort of branding.
That's it.
On the side.
We like to put, we call them a flag. We like to put a flag on every job.
Us Brits love a flag, don't
Although a lot of so our colours are red and blue, that's our security colours.
Yeah.
But everyone in scaffolding knows who scaffolding it is without the signboard up, because just from their colourings you sort of know.
Lovely bit of Wellington arch, gifted to the Duke of Wellington, following the Battle of Waterloo. Can you remember what year that's in?
No.
1815.
There you go.
And that was when we basically finally, for the final time, told France that they weren't good enough to be on the same field as us, so we told them to go away. So down in Victoria, 171 Victoria Street, tell me a little bit about the project that is going on behind us then.
All right, so to start with, I'm the design engineer behind this scaffold, as you can see, here at 171 Victoria Street.
How do sort of scaffolding designs differ? Because they look, to somebody that doesn't know what they're looking at, right, they look all very, very similar. They're kind of, a scaffold is a scaffold, right?
Yeah, you can replicate the
Exactly,
work everywhere.
you can replicate it, but surely the design, it changes every single day, right?
Yes, yes, and this is why I like on my job, to be fair, because every job is different than the other one, and the GKR, they are challenging us with some complex job,
Yeah.
especially for example for this one. So I had to design each section differently. So as you can see, the building shape is not similar.
No.
So for example, as you can see over there, you will have 3 stories, 4 stories height.
Yep.
And as I said, so the scaffold will be suspended, cantilevered out, and basically the scaffold will be just supported using beams.
Gotcha.
So I need to know the exact amount of beam used on each specific section.
Right.
So it would not be the thing all the
Got you,
way
okay.
around the job.
Marvellous. Right, are we taking you back to the office, my darling?
If you can.
Yeah, I think, are we going back to the office? Right, hopefully let's not get caught in traffic to the next one. So, driving around Canary Wharf, all of these buildings are looking, short isn't the word that I would use. So when it comes to creating safety in an environment like this, obviously it is very much paramount, and you guys brought in the original tethering system. What else is it that you kind of need to have in place?
So yeah, no, with scaffolding, obviously you cannot ever eliminate the need to work at height, and working at height is always the most common killer of construction workers. So everything we do has to be thorough, from the choice of PPE and equipment to making sure that the guys are competent to work, they've got the right training. But also, I think with GKR, it's about fostering high-performing teams. You can't just throw a bunch of guys together that have done scaffolding for a few years and expect them to tick. It's all part of a wider mechanism. You have to make sure that you foster a team between guys, get them to work together safely, set them to work properly, get a really good understanding of the working environment, make sure that they're briefed on their risk assessment, they know that there's anything in their methodology of work that might affect their safety, or anything that they might need to flag up whilst they're working on shift. It's all part of just bringing in so many variables into play, and also being dynamic when the guys are in the work interface, because anything can happen. I mean, even the jobs that we're passing now at City Tower, you've probably got about 50 to 100 different contractors there working, and every day you need to understand what is the changing in the work environment. You can't just say, oh no, you're going to build scaffolding.
Yes.
You need to get a real in-depth analysis as to what's going on.
Yeah, because every site's different, right?
Every site's different, and that's why you've got to work with the main contractor, and at the end of the day, we're part of their supply chain, so we've got to advise them when we think things might get a bit tricky, or when we need to maybe take a step back and reassess the work area, or how we're going to build scaffolding on site.
What's sort of the main risk for you guys? Is it, operators actually sort of like falling from a height, or is it operators dropping something from a height?
So that's the thing, working at height for GKR does become your bread and butter, but it's always in terms of severity versus likelihoods. Working at height is something that we've always got to think of first, but over recent years, where we've evolved so much in terms of the safety equipment we can provide the guys and the information, the training that's available, things like manual handling of scaffolding materials, something you can never change or never eliminate. The guys have to lump up heavy amounts of equipment every single day, and musculoskeletal injuries is now the most common cause of injury in scaffolding, which is not something that people may consider. They just think, oh, you're setting to work, you're doing a hard day's graft, and that's it.
Yeah.
So the biggest risk for us now we've got so far in working at height, is actually how do we address occupational health, which is always a bit of a grey area in construction in general, because that's something that develops over time. It's not like if you fall from height, you drop something immediately, you can understand why.
Yeah.
And you can look at it as something that kind of tinkers on in the background. So as a business over recent years, we've done a lot of research into that. We've invested in different training, we've used like scientific tools, we've partnered with an occupational health partner to help address musculoskeletal disorders in the workforce and occupational health more broadly. Because that's the big thing in construction now, it's noise, manual handling, vibration. What are we as contractors doing to target that?
Okay.
So surprisingly enough, you'd think it'd be dropping objects or working at height, which again, we can have no margin for error for that, because as scaffolders, when we do that, it can be quite severe and catastrophic, but that's something we've got to such a high level already. It's actually what are the other things that we're not thinking of that's still causing significant injury to our guys at work.
So then, Tone, behind us, we've got Citibank.
Yes.
It's got a lot of your stuff going on. Talk me through the project, what you're doing with Citibank, and how it all kind of came into being.
Yeah, well, Citibank project here in Canary Wharf, we become involved circa 4.5 years ago. We was approached by the client who we knew and was asked whether we'd be interested in working alongside them in tendering this scheme here and obviously developing it from there. So we then went into developing the scheme for just over a year with various workshops. Initially the client wanted a traditional tube and fitting, but once we become more involved with the project, we decided that a layer system would be best suited for the works required here.
Okay, so with this project, is it sort of retrofitting it to bring it up to sort of more modern standards, or is it just sort of doing all of the services up at the top? No,
it's an extension of some areas into garden areas to create a better working environment.
Terraced areas, kind of.
And obviously being a lifespan with guarantees of 25 years, etc. on the facades, that needs changing in some areas. They need re-warranty in other areas.
Quite right.
So that was the work there. They're doing an extension on the top by 2 floors, going around to create more space. They're going to be garden areas as well. Yeah. Just for a more modern work environment.
Okay, nice, marvellous. Well, thank you very much for taking the time.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Tony.
Cheers. Thank you.
So then, good sir.
Yeah.
Health and safety.
Yep.
You are basically the fun police.
Absolutely.
But you also keep everybody able to go home to their wife and kids at the end of the day.
Yes.
What are the main challenges kind of facing you when it comes to health and safety? Is it, chaps on site? Is it falling objects? Is it looking after, long body health? What is the sort of the main things that you're focused with?
Absolutely all of those with it. Fundamentally, with scaffolding, obviously working at height.
Yeah.
So that's associated with that is force from height. We need to keep our people safe from falling at height. So we need to come up with solutions to protect them from doing that. And obviously they're handling components, the scaffold components to build the scaffold itself. So falling objects from height. But then there's getting the right people to do the work as well. So we can have all the best processes or the best systems in place as well.
Got the right
but you
people.
need to have the right people with the right culture. Yeah. So that's creating that culture within the business and having the right people with the right attitudes and the right behaviours. But then he's also looking after the occupational health of the people as well.
Yes.
We're exposed to noise, dust as well.
Yeah.
So it's like you say, it's the fundamentals of looking after people that are falling from height, making sure we're not dropping anything whilst we're working at height, ensure we've got people that are fit to carry out the work, so looking after the longevity of the people as well.
Yeah. So I mean, because that's the thing, is scaffolding is all about managing risk, and you're never going to...
I think everything is, isn't it? It's whether it's scaffolding.
And it's kind of a case of how much risk you are able to negate, and how much risk you are comfortable taking on board, and kind of balancing that and being like, well, maybe we need to do this, but we can't afford to do Y because it means that then X is impossible, right?
Well, we measure risk by the likelihood of something happening against the severity if something was to happen. So what we've got to do is reduce that down to an acceptable level. So what we call the residual risk rating.
Perfect, right, so we want the residual risk rating.
So that sounded giving you too much of a health and safety lesson, obviously. So there you go, you see.
Exactly, but every day is a school day, and you could start, say you've got the residuals at 100, you want to get it as close to 0. If you're operating at about a 10, that's not a bad place to be. Right?
It's very hard for us to reduce the severity of something happening. So we have to, for instance, if we were working 20 metres above, if we put everything in place, but somebody then just decided to stand on top of it, go against the control measures, that was going to fall. Still, the severity is going to be the same.
If someone's going to fall, someone's going to fall.
What we do, we reduce the likelihood.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much for having a discussion and let me know all about health and safety. Pleasure's all mine, my friend. Thank you very much. Cool. Right, so talk to me about sustainability then. What's going on in the world of scaffolding and how you're making it more sustainable and making the planet a better place?
So our target is net zero by 2045.
Okay.
Is basically covers all 3 scopes. You have your scope 1, which is direct emissions produced by GKR, so that could be fleet and HVO fuel which we use.
Yep.
Scope 2 is indirect emissions, for example, like buying, purchasing energy.
Right.
And then Scope 3 is even wider indirect emissions, so that could be for our supply chain, the emissions they use, for example, to produce material products that then we buy.
Okay, I've got you. So
Yeah.
you're basically, for want of a better word, sourcing responsibly.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Well, yes, as much as one can.
Yes.
Another key element, I guess, is around our fleet.
Yes, because
So-
obviously burning diesel
fuels
is
and-
not
yeah.
exactly great for polar bears, really, is it?
Exactly. So I think we basically converted to HVO fuel,
Okay.
which has decreased our emissions by 91% roughly from a
No.
baseline year of 2020.
Just by changing the type of fuel.
In 2025, we covered around, I think it was 130,000 miles for project like distance.
Oh,
So
my
that's like
goodness.
deliveries, everything. And within that, we made a carbon saving by using our HVO fuel of 64,000 tons of carbon. Yeah. Which, when you put it
Whoa.
into perspective, that's around roughly taking around 15 cars off the road of the UK within a year. Which,
On one
yeah.
project?
no, total.
Okay, right. That's insane, though.
Yeah. So,
Like, that's got to really make you feel that, you know, obviously we've got considerate construction going on, that, you know, there is definitely a possibility for construction to be, by and large, a lot more sustainable, and
Yes.
pardon the pun, there is light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Exactly, and I think some companies, and I think we're really good at kind of logistically looking at it, because you'd think, right, from like an outsider's perspective, this material is needed at said site. Whereas what we can do is use our multi-project logistics and ensure that we're optimising where all our sites are, and a delivery, say we need in Canada Water, which is on the way through London Bridge, etc. We're doing multi-project deliveries en route, which will then actually reduce our miles, reduce our emissions and reduce our carbon footprint. So that is one thing that I'd say is really good. And we have Phil down at our depot who manages all of that, and there's a great system. We can look at all the lorries on this kind of like virtual map of where they all are.
So I've travelled all around London, visited some of the newest sites popping up all around town, and it is true, London is changing its buildings like I changed my underwear. I've met some amazing people who've told me all of the interesting facets about how you actually build a proper piece of scaffolding. It's not just simply erecting it on the outside of the building, but it's all of the hidden details inside as well. And if you've got a commercial building and you need some boys to do some scaffolding, check out GKR. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, have a fabulous day. And as you were.